So I think, when we look at digital twins, the digital twin up to now that we've been looking at has been pretty much almost like a metadata model. So I have this larger model and I've got some metadata. So I'm building a virtual representation, which is kind of part of the definition, and it's synchronized at a certain frequency and fidelity, again, part of a definition, for example, coming out of Digital Twin Consortium. But it is still just a sort of a one-way metadata model. So now I have state and I have some information and around the physical asset. One of the first things that happened with this kind of digital twin over the last few years has been they're becoming more intelligent. And what we mean by that is we started figuring out how can we plug AI into it, and not necessarily generative AI, but AI like predictive AI. So how can I predict operations? How can I predict when this thing is going to fail, and embed that into the twin and start making the twin almost anticipatory, so it can anticipate. So a good example that Dr. Greaves used at a event where he was speaking is if you look at the traditional twin, if you think of a safety belt inside a car, it's very reactive. Something has to happen before the twin knows about it. So you need to be in an accident before your safety belt actually engages. With an intelligent digital twin, it is anticipatory. So what it will do is it will detect that there's an accident likely to happen, and then your safety belt will deploy before that. So that's the benefit of creating smarter, more intelligent digital twins, by taking what is sometimes referred to as traditional AI, but I kind of prefer to talk about it as analytical AI. So the AI that we've had up to now, like regression models and classification models and neural networks and all the machine learning based ones, where we now embed that into twins. So we start making the twins more intelligent. And again, they can now be goal seeking instead of goal given. So we because they have this ability to have some understanding capability. The next kind of iteration or phase that we're seeing around that is to say, well, now that we have some level of intelligence that's embedded, so I can ground it in physics, I can ground it in computational fluid dynamics, I can build that model into the twin. Can I now use generative AI to give it some reasoning? And that for us is the next part in terms of, and work that we are doing, for example, at XMPRO, is around what they call multi-agent generative systems, where we take the twin, we build, and those twins almost become agents. Some of them do, or they all observe an agent, or a digital twin. These agents are almost like virtual employees, and they can't look at the real physical asset because they don't have the perception that we have, like eyes and hearing and all that. They have to look at the twin in order for them to be able to observe what the state is, or the information around that, and they can now either use that to, like I mentioned earlier, generate a specification or do some content-based work. But there's also a different type of agent, which is, for me, the more advanced one, which is a decision agent, and using generative AI and the digital twin, because it can now observe the twin. What these agents can do, they can observe the twin, look at state. They can reflect like humans and think about what they're seeing or observing from the twin, and then take that and, based on that reflection, decide if they need to take some action. Now, the action could be just a recommendation for a human being, send an SMS, a Teams message, update in a different system where they can see the information, or it could physically actuate. It could use something like MQTT or whatever, and pass that message back into a system in a safe operating envelope. Those kind of processes, we always, they need to happen in a safe operating envelope, where you actually use them now as a new generation control. So this digital twin has gone from a traditional twin to an intelligent twin to multi-agent generative system.